Welcome back you guys to a new YouTube video. In today's video I'm gonna show you two chess games I've played. One ended in 2 moves and the other one was 35 moves without captures. So without further ado, let's get into the first game. I played against player 1357154. I mean, it's your typical gamer username. He started the game with pawn to d3, and I responded with d5, controlling the center. And then my opponent decided to think for half an hour long, because you know it's kind of a complicated position. And after half an hour of thinking, he decided to play e4. I'm not sure why you would play this. I mean, yeah, you're trying to strike in the center, but then I decided to take, and for some reason he just abandoned the game at the last second of the game. The reason I'm taking the pawn is because if he takes, I can take the queen. King takes on d1, and this position looks pretty favorable for black because the king can't castle. Now, why did my opponent decide to make a 1 hour game with 2 moves? That's something you don't have to ask me, you know. I don't know. Let's get to the real game. This game was 35 moves without captures. 35, okay? I started with e4. My opponent did b6. I controlled the center. And then he started to bring his bishop and bring his queen. What is this opening? Who plays this? Queen? What is queen c8? So I bring my knights in, and right when he plays knight c6, I push my pawn forward, forcing him to retreat. Now bishop d3, defending the pawn. We have f6. Now f6 is like, I wish I could. I had a winning move here. According to the computer, I just have to play bishop d2 or something. I'm not sure why, but in the game I played knight to a4. Intending to go in queen h5 check, g6, I take back. For example, let's say my opponent does something completely stupid. Queen h5, g6, I take the knight, hitting the rook. If you take, I take the rook. I'm up material, and the game would go on with me winning the game. But that didn't happen. My opponent actually defended this threat with g6. Now my queen can't go to h5. So I decided to go to g4. Now, to my opponent's credit, he did a very good job of defending himself. Look at his pieces, trying to make space for the king to castle. I played bishop to d2. He played e5, and e5 screamed en passant. I knew that this wasn't the best move, because if I did take, this bishop would get active, and I'd rather have a closed position than giving the black bishop more chances. So instead of that, I tried to bring my rooks into the game. My opponent played d6, solidifying his pawn structure, and we kind of had this silent mutual agreement to not attack each other anymore for a few moves. Then he played bishop c8. Then he suddenly did try to go for this f5 idea. The idea behind f5 is that I can't really take, because you have pawn takes f5, and this looks pretty scary for white. But what I've realized is that I don't have to take. I can reinforce the center with f3. And with f3 there comes f4. And as you can see, we are making a wall. We have king f2, queen h4. Now he is trying to attack all of a sudden, but I thought in my mind that I was kind of safe. Black doesn't have any threats. I mean, there is this threat of bishop h3, but that's easily stopped with sidestepping the king to the corner. Then we have king h8, rook g1, defending the g2 pawn. It's now defended 3 times by the queen, the rook, and the king. Knight g8, queen f2, knight f6, knight e2. We were shuffling a bit, and then this move h5 comes, and this is kind of a critical moment, because around here he makes a very crucial mistake, and that is h4. He is overextending his h pawn, and what I could have done is taking this pawn with a check, forcing a queen trade, and allowing my bishop into the game, attacking the knight, and I'm simply a pawn up. This is a very comfortable position, and I would eventually win the game. Now, I was playing too fast because in 30 seconds I immediately decided let's go knight f1, defend everything, completely missing the opportunity of h4, but you know, it is what it is. My opponent correctly recorrects his mistake by defending his pawn, and then comes g5. I knew g4 wasn't really a threat because I have multiple defenders. He doesn't have anything on my king, and so I decided to finish building the wall. And yeah, so I have this pawn structure. It is like this is like the Chinese wall against the, I don't know, the Dutch wall or something. No, but we have a very strong pawn structure along the board, and I was pretty confident that he wouldn't find a way to break in. But eventually, when he started to get this knight into my territory, I was a little bit scared. I didn't want to take the knight because I didn't like the fact that his pawn was in my territory. So I kind of waited here. Bishop c1, rook g7, bishop c2. He's trying to get his rooks on the same file. I played bishop d1, but all of a sudden, g4. g4 is possible. Did you remember so many moves ago when he played g5 and I was discussing this exact move g4? Let's say I played something like b3. And he played g4. This wouldn't be possible. The engine agrees with me because I can pretty much just take the pawn. I guess you don't take with that. I guess you would take with this pawn. And black has nothing here. Literally nothing. But if you go a few moves further down the line, when black played g4 in this position, now his pawn is supported by all of his rooks, and his queen is joining the attack. It's very dangerous, and I thought I had some counter-attacking ideas, but the reality is that I just didn't. His other knight is coming into the game. I decided to trade the knight. I thought trading the knight would benefit me here in some way, but that is not true. With pawn takes on g3, and I thought, okay, king h1 doesn't look good because of queen takes pawn. And in my mind, I thought king g2, knight takes h3, and rook h1 was winning because the knight was pinned to the queen and the queen was pinned to the king. What I also thought was if bishop takes, I would somehow run this king away and get rook h1 along the lines, which is not true because I can't really move my king anywhere. And that's something I didn't realize that when thinking about my move. And I also thought king g2, queen takes rook h1. But actually, when black takes the queen, or when black takes the pawn with his queen, it's checkmate. And that's exactly what happened in the game. And that's exactly how the game ended, with a checkmate. Yes, as you can see, move 35 was bishop g1 and g4. The first capture of this game was on move 36 when he took an h3. So basically, we only captured for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. In this entire game, we played 39 moves. And only 5 of those moves, or no, actually 4 of those moves are captures. 4. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, that does bring me to 1277 elo. I am improving, I think. If you look at my statistics, it might not be completely accurate. I'm not sure if I actually won 61 games and actually lost 72 games. but I'm trying my best to take a raw estimate, and I'm not sure if I'm going to change the layout to maybe get rid of some statistics, because some of them are pretty hard to follow. But that's something I have to think about. Nevertheless, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be back for more chess games in the next video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.